Good morning, students. Myself Umapati from MES College, Malleshwaram, Bangalore. Today, I'm going to explain about analysis of univariate data. In that, second topic, measures of dispersion, or variation. Till now, you have studied, you have learnt about measures of central tendency. Mainly, statistical measures are used for predicting for the prediction or comparison. So all the statistical measures mainly used for the prediction or comparison. In case of measures of central tendency, mainly measures of central tendency it is used for comparison. It is used for comparison. It gives a single value. From that value, you can compare two or more data. For example, there are three data A, B, C. Three data A, B, C. Three data as observations like this 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. And here is 10, 13, 7, 12, 8, 20, 10, 5, 3, 2. See, all the three data have 5 observations. So mean x bar equal to summation x by n formula. So here 50 by 5, 10. Here also 50 by 5, 10. Here also 50 by 5, 10. So 3, 10. All the mean values for all the data are equal. So we cannot use arithmetic mean or central tendency for comparison of these three data. That case, we need another measure, next measure, next measure to make comparison between these type of data. Then by using mean, we cannot differentiate here because all the data have same mean. So next measure is dispersion. Here, what is the difference between mean is 10 for all the values? Difference is 0, 0, 0. So uniformity is there. So all the values are equal. There is lack of uniformity. If uniformity is not there, there is some variation in the data. Here uniformity, so all the values are equal. So dispersion is 0. Here difference 0 plus 3 minus 3 plus 2 minus 2 like this. So difference is there. So deviation is there between the central tendency and observations. C is too much difference is there. Here observation is 30, 30, 10. So total here no 30, 10, 5, 3, 2. So total is 50. The difference is 20, 0, minus 5, minus 7 like this. So minus 8, minus 8. Too much difference is there. From this, you'll come to know what is the measure of dispersion, the study of scatter or variation of the values. The study of scatter or variation of values in the data from any measure here I have taken mean. You can take median, mode. So any other average. So measures of in a data from any measure of central tendency is called dispersion or lack of uniformity in the data. It is the definition. So compared to, so here we need a measure for making comparison between the two or more data. Then what are the objectives? Objectives Objectives. Objectives are to judge the reliability of an average. So how much reliability is there? Particular average is calculated from for a given data. So it is used for reliability of the average. Reliability, and it is used for comparison of objective is comparison of two or more data, and it is objective is to control of variability. If more variability is there in the data, to control the variability, so it is so another objective is to control the variability. It is used in further use of other statistical measures in calculation of next correlation, regression, number of topics are there. There we use the dispersion. Then, like you studied in measures of central tendency, here also desired qualities desired qualities desired qualities are there. So desired qualities is, first one is desired qualities of a good measure of a good measure of a good measure of dispersion. So important for 5 marks. It is easy, it can be easily computed. Easily compute. It can be easily computed and easily understand. So it should be easily understood. So any measure compared to number of measures are there. So first one is easily understood. Then it should be rigidly defined. It should be rigidly defined. It should be rigidly defined. Then, so strongly mathematically defined. It should consider all the values. It should consider all the values in the calculation, all the values. Then it should possess sampling stability. It should possess sampling stability. Then it should be used in further statistical analysis. Used in further statistical analysis. Further statistical analysis. It should be used in further statistical analysis. Then it should not be affected by extreme values. It should not be affected by it should not be affected by extreme values. So ending values, lowest value and highest value in the data are called extreme values. So it should not be affected by extreme values. It should not be affected by extreme values. So these are the, so write 5 points in the examination for 5 marks. It is very important for 5 marks. So what are the desired qualities of a good measure of dispersion? The required qualities or desired qualities. Then there are two types of there are two types of measures. Two types of measures. There are two types of measures. First one is absolute. Absolute measures. So measures can be mainly two types. So absolute measure and second one is relative measures. Relative measures. Absolute measure and relative measure. So absolute measure means the measures which the measures which contain the measures which contain original units, original units, original units of the data. For example, centimeters, grams, then kgs, rupees. If the data is given with the units centimeters, grams, kgs, rupees, no, in the answer also units will be there. So the measures are called absolute measures. The measures which contain original units of the data called absolute measures. Then relative measures. The measures, the measures, the measures which, the measures which do not contain units, which do not contain units, units of the data, of the data. The measures which do not contain units of the data are called relative measures or relative measures or relative measures. So absolute measures, relative measures. Absolute measures contain units. So relative measures do not contain units. So it is a pure number. Pure number. So it is a pure number. Here pure number. Here for example, so there are students, the data related to students, heights and weights. Heights in centimeters, weights in centimeters, weights in kgs. Data is there. So if the data has different units, so it is not used for calculation of 165 centimeters. Mean, for example, x bar. Here no 165 centimeters. Here kg 60 kgs. Mean values are there, but we cannot compute because different units. So we cannot compare. We cannot compare. And relative measures means here even though different units, so you will get, so for example 0.3, here 0.2, which does not contain 0.3. In case of measures of dispersion, the point is lesser than 0.3. So second data, the data related to kgs is most consistent than first data. So these are relative and absolute measures. Relative and absolute measures. Relative measures. So absolute measures of dispersion. Absolute measures of dispersion. Absolute measures of dispersion are first one range, second one quartile deviation, third one mean deviation, fourth one standard deviation. Standard deviation. So short form quartile deviation is QD, it is MD, it is SD. So range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, standard deviation. Standard deviation and relative measures. Measures of dispersion are relative measures of dispersion are first one coefficient of range. Coefficient of range. Second one coefficient of quartile deviation. Third one coefficient of mean deviation. Fourth one coefficient of standard deviation. Coefficient of standard deviation. So absolute measures of dispersion are range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, standard deviation. Relative measures of dispersion are coefficient of range, coefficient of quartile deviation, coefficient of mean deviation, coefficient of standard deviation. These are the measures. Now I'll explain about the first measure, range. First measure of dispersion is range. First measure of dispersion is range. It is the definition is, it is the difference. It is the difference between the highest value h. It is denoted by h, highest value, and lowest value or least value. Least value is L in the data. In the data, it is denoted by R. It is range is denoted by R. Therefore, R equal to H minus, according to the definition, H minus L. H minus L. R equal to H minus L. Then coefficient of range. Coefficient of range. Range is H minus L by h plus l. So it is a pure number, it does not contain units. Example 1. For example, so example 1, example 1. So for example, so here sum will be given like this: find range and coefficient of range, coefficient of range from the following data. From the following data. Find range and coefficient of range from the following data. Data is 10, 15, 20, 30, 8, 8, 25. How many observations? 6 observation. No? Solution is, what type of data it is? It is an ungrouped data. So the given data is an ungrouped data. Ungrouped. The given data is an ungrouped data. Therefore, ungrouped data. So find highest value. Highest value is how much? 10, 15, 20, 38, 25. 30 is the highest value. Least value is 8. L equal to 8. Least value is 8. Therefore, range R equal to H minus L. So, 30 minus 8, 22. 22. Then, 22, coefficient of range. Coefficient of range is coefficient of range. Range equal to H minus L by H plus L. H minus L by H plus L. H minus L is 30 minus 8 by 30 plus 8. So 22 by 38, approximately some 0.6 or 7, you will get the answer. 0.6 or 7. So by using calculator, you can find the value. It is a range. Now you can see the textbook. So meanwhile, so after writing this and all, no, see the textbook. See the textbook. In that page number 153. So example 1 example I have completed. So another example 2 I'll explain. So compared to, according to the given data, you should find the according to the given data. According to the given data, you should find the range. Question is given like this: example 2. Example 2. So textbook page number 153. If the least value and the highest value least value and the highest value, if the least value and the highest value in a data are minus 8 and 60, find range and coefficient of range. find range and coefficient of range. So just now I have completed previous question. So here given solution is given h is 60, L equal to minus 8. H equal to 60, L equal to minus 8. Then coefficient is H equal to 60, L equal to minus 8. Then range is H minus L. H is 60, minus is there in the formula, L equal to minus 8. So 60 minus into minus plus 8, 68 is the range. Coefficient of range. Coefficient of range equal to H minus L by H plus L. H minus L by H plus L is equal to 60 minus of minus 8 by 60 plus minus 8 equal to 68. Numerator is 60 plus 8, minus into minus plus 8 by 60 plus into minus 60 minus 8. 68 by 52, 1.307. 1.307. So textbook in the page number 153, example 1 and 2, and some exercise sums also there in the exercise based on range. It is important for 2 marks mainly you can complete. Now second measure is, first measure is range. Okay, before going to the second measure, merits of merits of range. Merits of range, mainly it is easy to understand. So easy, the only formula H minus L. So it is easy to understand and easy to compute. And easy to compute. Then so easy to compute. It is mathematically defined. It is mathematically well defined. Well defined. Mathematically well defined. Demerits are mathematically well defined. Formula H minus, no ambiguity in the formula, H minus L, that's it. So it is mathematically well defined. Mathematically well defined. Then demerits. Demerits, first point is, so in demerits, so mainly demerit is, it is not based on all the observations in the data. All the observations in the data. It is not based on all the observations in the data. So it is based on, it is highly affected by extreme values. It is highly affected by extreme values. Extreme values, extreme values means ending values. So mainly it is not based on all the remaining values, only extreme values only, highest value minus lowest value. So it is highly affected by extreme values. So it has no sampling stability. No sampling stability. It has no sampling stability. No sampling stability. It has no sampling stability. So these are the merits and demerits of the range. Now I'll go to the next measure, quartile deviation. Quartile deviation. So quartile, second measure is quartile deviation. Quartile deviation. So QD. Definition is, it is the difference, it is half of the difference, half of the difference, half of the difference, it is half of the difference between the upper quartile and lower quartile. Lower quartile. So in partition values you have learnt quartiles, percentiles, deciles and range. So and median. Four partition values you have learnt. So here now we use partition values. So quartiles in the calculation of quartile deviation. Quartile deviation. So it is, the short form is QD. So according to the definition, it is the half of the difference between the upper quartile is Q3, lower third quartile or first quartile. Upper quartile, lower quartile by 2. It is another name is, and also semi-interquartile range. Semi-interquartile range. Semi-interquartile range. So another name is semi-interquartile range or QD. Both are the same. So interquartile range. Interquartile range. Interquartile range. Interquartile range means, so only Q3 minus Q1. Q3 minus Q1. Upper quartile minus lower quartile. That difference is interquartile range. Semi-interquartile range is in that half. In that half. So another name for QD is semi-interquartile range. If interquartile range is asked in the exam, in the question, just you use this formula Q3 minus Q1. Coefficient of quartile deviation is equal to Q3 minus Q1 by Q3 plus Q1. Q3 minus Q1 by Q3 plus Q1, like a range. Q3 minus Q1 by Q3 plus Q1, it is a pure number. Then mainly merits and demerits. Merits and demerits. So in case of merits, compared to, so it can be easily, we can understand easily. So easy to understand. Easy to understand. And it is, compared to range, it is a better measure. Compared to range, it is a better measure. It is based on 50% of the observations. 50% of the observations. So, but range is based on only 2 values. So it is approximate. So here 50% of the, it considers in calculation. No, it is better measure than range. Better measure than range. Then it is not highly affected by extreme values. So Q1, Q2, Q3 data divided by 4 parts. So by 3 quartiles Q1, Q2. So it is 50% of observations. So mainly it considers, and your extreme values it will not consider. So it is not highly affected by the extreme values. So whatever the extreme value, so it will not consider in the calculation. Then demerit, so it is not based on all the observations. It is also considered some observation, not 100%, not 100%. Then it can be, it is not capable of further mathematical treatment. Further analysis required means, no, we use other measures, so mean deviation and standard deviation, mainly standard deviation. Okay, then so in quartile deviation, no, depends on the data how to calculate quartile deviation for an ungrouped data. For an ungrouped data, I'll explain textbook sum, page number 154. Page number 154. Page number 154. Example 1. Sorry, 150. For example 5. Example 5. Calculate QD and its coefficient. And its coefficient for the following data. For the following data. For the following data. Calculate QD and its coefficient for the following data. For the following data. So data is given as 78, 80, again 80, 82, 82, 84, 84, 86, 86, 88, 88, 88, 90. So totally 78, 80, 80, 82, 82, 84, 84, 86, 86, 88, 88, 90. 4, 12 observations. 12 observations are there. So data, solution. So it is a solution. In the solution, no. So first you should arrange the data in ascending order of magnitude, that is array. So already observations are given in the ascending order. If not, you should arrange in ascending order: 78, 80, 80, 82, 82, 84, 84, 86, 86, 88, 88, 88, 90. Then in partition values, you have learned the formula, general formula Q for an ungrouped data. The data is ungrouped. It is important. A raw data, Qi equal to I into n plus 1 by 4th observation. So in the order, in the array. So here Q1 equal to 1 into n is how many observations? 12 observations. 12 plus 1 by 4th observation in the array, which is equal to 3.25. 5th observation in the array. So 3.25 means It is between the third observation, fourth observation. No, how much? That is means third value, third observation plus 0.25, fourth observation minus third observation in the array. Third observation is 80 plus 0.5. Fourth observation is 82 minus 80. So 0.25 here. 80 equal to 80 plus 0.25 into 2, 0.5, 80.5. 80.5. Similarly, Q3 equal to Q3 equal to I is 3, N is 12, 12 plus 1 by fourth observation in the array. Observation in the array equal to 3 into 12 plus 1. 12 plus 1 is 13 by 4. It is 3.25. Fifth observation in the array. So 9.75. Fifth observation in the array equal to ninth observation plus ninth observation plus 0.75. Ninth observation minus 10th observation minus ninth observation in the array. See the ninth observation. Ninth observation is 86. 10th observation is 88. 88 minus 86. 86 plus 0.75 into 2. 86 plus 1.5. 87.5. It is for ungrouped data. If you get whole number directly, ninth observation means ninth value, just you write down as Q3. If you get decimal part like this, so apply this procedure. Already have learnt in partition values. Therefore, quartile deviation QD equal to Q3 minus Q1 by 2. Q3 is 87.5 minus 80.5 by 2 equal to 7 by 2, 3.5. 3.5. Similarly, so you can find the coefficient of quartile deviation. Coefficient is, so coefficient of quartile deviation, no? Coefficient of quartile deviation is Q3 minus Q1 by Q3 plus Q1 by substituting the values. So 87.5 minus 80.5 by 87.5 plus 80.5. 80.5. So 87.5 minus 80.5 is 7 by, so 168. 168. You will get the answer as 0.0442. 0.042. So like this you can find the quartile deviation for an ungrouped data. I'll continue in the next class. So second session, no? So now I have explained measures of dispersion, in that absolute measures, relative measures, and no theory part and all. So I'll continue in the next session.